The question I get asked most when I'm streaming Apex Legends, other than why do you suck so bad, is which champions do I think are the best and the worst? Ultimately, what would my tier list of Apex Legends champions be, and where would I put them? Now, there are millions of tier lists out there, and so I thought, what's the point in my pleb opinion on this? I don't even try hard playing Apex that much myself. However, I've got a little bit of a different twist on this one, because I primarily 99% of the time play solo queue, and I've been grinding solo queue. I play around diamond level, not amazing elo, but obviously not super low elo either. And I think a lot of people play around the diamond platinum level, so this is more for the masses. I'm not a pro player. I'm not an ex-pro. I'm not playing at Predator. I'm not at any of those levels. I'm not playing in 3 trio stacks where we're all proper sweating and stuff. This is effectively a solo player's guide on which champs I think are best to play in solo queue, but also best to play with on my team in solo queue. So a couple of caveats before we get started. First off, as I said, I play around diamond level. I'm not a pro player. Secondly, this is being recorded halfway through season 16. So by the time you see this, there'll be new legends. I'm sure there'll be new buffs. There'll be new nerfs that may change some of these legends drastically. Maybe some legends coming out in the future will massively counter some of these that I'm about to talk about that are on the higher end of things, or they will buff up and enable some legends that are a little bit lower down on the tier list. I guess only time will tell. Additionally, I'm going for a general sort of view on these champs. Anybody on their day, if you play with like a Smurf or someone that is a one trick or someone that's just having a great day, can make any single legend look god tier. And on the other side of that, anyone having a bad day, playing a legend they don't normally play, or just not a very good player full stop, can make any legend in the game look like trash. So we're going off the general basis. We're not talking necessarily about peaks and troughs. We're going for a general basic level player, a baseline player. So, with that being said, we have Printing RP, which is the champs I'm feeling really good if I'm playing or if they're on my team, Champ Select, and Nope, which is stay away from me, please. I don't want to play with you. I've had a lot of bad experiences. Alphabetical order, Ashe is up first. Now, we have to talk about the Assault class, because with Season 16 came some big changes, which has certainly changed the tier list of how good certain champs are and how bad other ones are, which is the class system. And Assault class, for me, is the best in the game right now. It is really, really powerful. You get extra ammunition, which is a massive buff, which allows you to have more ammo and maybe cut one extra stack of ammo for an extra nade or extra meds. You also get the crazy, crazy strong Assault class loot bins, which can give you really good attachments like yellows, legendaries, and give you digital threat scopes, and give you everything you want in terms of weapon attachments, which is super powerful, especially early game. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to put Ashe in C tier. I know I just built that up like all Assault class champs are, in Printing RP, but no, I'm going to be real here. I don't see Ashe played that much, even with her Heirloom being released most recently. For the first few days afterwards, I saw a lot of Ashe. She's getting a lot of game time, and then it's just dropped off. And I think the problem is with Ashe is that she's good, but she's not really great at anything. Like mobility-wise, you're looking at Pathfinder, you're looking at Octane. Wraith has quite a bit of mobility, although I would argue, ult-wise, maybe Ashe is better. That's a debate that goes back and forth. But she doesn't really excel at anything, in my opinion. And if you're playing solo queue, some of the benefits that she gets through her intel and information can't be relayed as easily, because a lot of people in solo queue play with their microphones turned off, or they have their microphones open the whole time and I end up muting them because I don't want to hear them breathing and coughing down their microphone or having an argument with their girlfriend or their parents. So, for those reasons, Ashe for me is C tier. I don't think she's in Nope. She might even sneak her way up into B tier. We'll see how the rest of the champions come through. But she is just kind of meh for me. She's almost the definition of meh. Now, we're going from meh to absolute Printing RP, and that's with Bangalore. I feel very comfortable and confident to give Bangalore Printing RP because she is so strong right now. Smoke grenades, fantastic, especially when you add on to the fact that she has a higher chance of getting a digital scope to see through them and basically wall hack people. Her ultimate is great for area of denial. And although I'm not going to go specifics on certain maps, I think the map pool right now does favour Bangalore quite a bit when you consider how open area maps like Broken Moon are in certain aspects, and also Storm Point, and to a lesser extent Olympus. Her ultimate is great at just clearing away areas and allowing you to aggress behind it, or if you are being aggressed on, just put it down and chill and try and retreat. It's very, very good. And a massively underrated part of Bangalore's kit is her double time passive. Where if you get shot at, you get like double speed, movement speed as you run away. It's so, so good for relocating and getting the hell out of there quick. It's an element that a lot of people don't talk about with Bangalore. But when you add all of these things into the mix, plus how easy she is to play, like she's really not that difficult to play, like mechanically. And she also gets the assault class buff. She is absolutely printing RP. Bangalore is next. Sorry, not Bangalore. She's so good I thought of her twice. Bloodhound is next. So Bloodhound for quite a while I would have said would have been a fairly comfortable A tier pick in solo queue. Probably for the last 4 or 5 seasons. They've always been good. At least good, if not very good. But I feel as if the recon class is maybe a little bit behind compared... The way I see it is assault class is best, support class is second, recon class is third, and then about 15 levels below is skirmisher. I think most people agree that skirmisher is like really not very good at all, especially when you compare it to like assault class, which got a massive, like ridiculous buff. But Bloodhound, I don't want to say that they fell off, but I'm going to put them down into B tier. When I think of Bloodhound, I'm almost thinking of, you know how I said that Ashe is like the definition of meh? I feel like Bloodhound is the definition of mid. You know? Okay, solid, decent. That's how I see Bloodhound. On my team, decent. If I'm playing them, decent. But nothing more than decent. Catalyst is next, and I feel pretty good about putting Catalyst in the A tier. I know this is all looking very balanced. I'm not doing this for effect. It's just the way that things have rolled out. Catalyst is really quite good. I think that she's a bit overlooked. She's a bit slept on. Her walls that she puts down, I'm not talking about the ultimate here, I'm talking about her Qs, pretty damn good. Good area of denial, can be very annoying, very irritating, can allow her to get fast reses off. Just a solid champ, and I see her played quite often, and whenever she is on my team, I'm going to be honest, I've only played her myself like maybe 4 or 5 times, but whenever she's on my team, she pulls her weight and does a good job. So I feel good about putting Catalyst in the A tier. I think that she is better than Bloodhound, and I certainly think that she's better than Ashe. Caustic. It hurts me to say this because I'm a big fan of Gas Daddy, but he just isn't that good right now. I think I'm going to put him in the C tier. Not terrible. Maybe edges his way into bottom of B tier. We will have to wait and see. But the problem with Caustic is how one-dimensional he is as a champ. And it hurts me. It really does to my core. Because I played the game when it first released, and the 2 champs I played by far the most was Caustic and Bangalore. For very different reasons. Caustic was super chill. I love trolling people with the gas traps. I love trapping them in rooms and stuff. And, you know, it was just super fun. But he really falls into little pieces and apart when he has to get his thick body running towards a room when they have the last circle and you don't. Or you have to move out of the red into a crossfire of just carnage. He sucks in those situations. It's not even like you can throw his ultimate in and make a big difference, because most people are either going to fight in the ult because it does so little damage and just kill you, or they're going to sidestep it because it's so slow to throw at long range. Your barrels, yeah, you can put them down and pop them and try and use the clouds as smoke to get around, but he's just not that. He isn't an aggressive legend. You have to play him passively. Now, in the situations, and the reason he's not in nope territory and he's above Ashe, is because in the situations where you do have a team that's on the same page, you get lucky in solo queue, and everyone wants to play passive, and they understand the importance of playing passive, and because he's the recon class, he can find that last ring and get there quick. If you can set up shop in the last ring, you are laughing with Caustic. He is mega powerful. You will win games you have no right to win, and that's why he's in the C tier. But when you have to be aggressive with him in solo queue, good night. It's over for you. Crypto. Crypto's nope, isn't he? Like, if we're being honest, if you're playing solo queue, you're playing with 2 randoms, you have no idea how good they are, what their ability levels are, how aggressive they are, you have no idea about anything about them, and you see them pick Crypto, I'm already just thinking, right, GG. You know, go next. He's situational like Caustic, but has a higher skill ceiling to be truly good with him, and I have found very few Crypto players that know what they're doing. Now, I understand, and this is why I put the caveat at the start of the video, that I'm not playing at Apex Predator levels, nor am I a pro, nor am I playing with trio stacks, okay? Because I know Crypto at the top levels can be very, very, very good. I'm talking Diamond solo queue. Crypto sucks balls. Okay? I'm sorry. You've got a great heirloom. I love the Katana Chief. I love the way you look. Love the idea of the drone. You suck balls. Fuse. Huh. I think Fuse is going to be one of those legends that probably before the Assault class buff would have been in C, but I think he's crept his way into B tier. It will be the very bottom of B tier, but I think he has crept his way in there. The Assault class is massive. It allows him to stack even more grenades because he gets more ammo per stack, which is a huge thing about Fuse. You want him to stack grenades. And he can be very useful aggressively or defensively with his knuckle clusters and with his ultimate as well. But what really gets him over the top is the Assault class change. I think that really has buffed him up to the B tier. You'll notice that a lot of Fuse players are typically people that are just playing fairly casually, in my opinion. This is definitely a stereotype. But I say this as someone that played a lot of Fuse the last couple of seasons for that very reason. If I wanted to turn my brain off and just chill and annoy people with knuckle clusters, I pick Fusey. And I have a good old time. And I'm sure when eventually in the next 15 years his heirloom comes out, and hopefully please don't be something shit, please be good. But when it does come out, I'm sure I'll play him a lot more. I just don't think that he is particularly fantastic. And in a lot of people's hands, they seem to miss a lot of knuckle clusters and their ults as well. It's like I feel a lot of Fuse players around Diamond level use his ult as this idea of it's going to do loads of damage. It's going to do tons of damage, you know? Not realizing that its purpose isn't really for damage. Like, don't get me wrong, if people walk through the flames a couple of times, you're laughing. It's more area of denial. It's more for information. It's more to be an annoyance. It's kind of like the way I look at Bangalore's ultimate. In certain situations, you'll get crazy damage off it, but for the most part, you're just trying to push people away from you. And that's Fuse in a nutshell. And I think a lot of people play him like his knuckle cluster does 5,000 damage per tick, and his ultimate just one-shots people. That's not how he works, Chief. So, B tier. Gibby. I feel like people really have gone off Gibraltar, and it's kind of strange because for the longest time, he was kind of like the king. You know, he was the tank. He was the go-to guy. He was everywhere. ALGS, every team had him pretty much. In ranked, he was everywhere as well. You just see bubbles and bubbles and bubbles of thick, juicy boys in the middle of them. And now I don't really see him that much. I don't know if it's because people are buying too much into the Maggie hype of a drill or ultimate, like countering him. I'm not sure what it is. That being said, though, I'm going to put Gibraltar in the A tier. He's never really been a champ that I play a lot myself. But whenever I have him on my team, I just feel he's super, super useful. Yeah, bad Gibraltars can ruin your day by putting a bad shield down and blocking all your shots or your grenades and stuff. Don't get me wrong here. But a half-competent, decent Gibraltar, not necessarily a great Gibraltar, but a decent Gibraltar is going to have a lot of impact. And of course, on top of that, he is the first support class that we're talking about. Being able to go and craft your teammates' banners is a game changer. This is massive. I have got so much results playing Lifeline this last few weeks by doing just that. My teammates die early on in the first couple of fights. I go craft and we end up getting wins or we finish in the top 3. Like, it's such a game changer. So for me, Gibraltar is A tier. He's not quite as good as Catalyst, I think. Not as much consistent use as Catalyst, but I think very, very good all the same. Horizon. I feel like Horizon's around the same level as Gibraltar. Now, she obviously is a skirmisher, which, I mean, she's the first skirmisher that we're talking about. Skirmisher is the weakest class. I think everyone is in agreement on that one. The way that Respawn tried to play off is like, yeah, but they rely on combat mobility, so we'll give them, checks notes, we'll let them scan the beacons in the air. Oh, okay, sick. So they're nowhere near as good as Assault class now. So, spoiler warning, there's probably no skirmishers going to be in printing RP. That being said, though, I do think that Horizon earns her place in the A tier. I don't think she's quite as good as Gibraltar. I feel you could go back and forth on those two, but she is still a powerhouse. Her ultimate is still a game changer. A good Horizon player is an absolute asset to your team. The mobility her Q gives. And then when you're playing Horizon as well, her passive is super useful. You know, I kind of scoffed at it when I first started playing her. I was like, what? She just doesn't get she doesn't stall when she drops from it. She doesn't get staggered. Like, what is this trap? And then you play and you're like, oh no, this is actually quite useful, especially when you're first landing at the start of the game. She's good. She's good. I feel pretty good about having Horizon in the A tier. Next is Lifeline. She has definitely been given a lot of love from Respawn, I personally think, this season. I think the changes to her Lifeline have been a net positive across the board. And I'm going to put her at the top end of B tier as a result of that. She might even sneak into bottom end of A tier. I think people are really sleeping on Lifeline and what she brings to the table. Yes, I know some people are still devastated that she no longer has her shield on res. Let it go. It's okay. But the change to the support class, again, same with Gibraltar, is a massive positive for her. I think her ultimate getting sped up as well is just huge. It's so, so important. Because no longer are you telegraphing as long with her ult where you stand there for 5 years waiting for it to land. Now it's almost instant. And that allows you to get out those quick shield upgrades and attachments and shield batteries and, you know, heat shields, whatever else you need. I think it's a really, really big benefit. Her drone is still very useful as well for rezzing. I think it's always been overlooked that the healing is so, so useful. You can res and then pop that down and then still stay in the fight in those nitty-gritty sort of third parties or fourth party situations. She's very, very good and very clutch. And so for me, Lifeline is B. I love playing her. I've really enjoyed playing her the last couple of weeks. And when I have a competent Lifeline player on my team, I think that she is definitely a bonus. She is definitely helpful. And of course, one thing I haven't mentioned about the support class, they also get the benefit, similar to the assault class, of being able to get extra meds from supply crates. So you're going to get extra shield batteries, extra med kits, and all that good stuff. So yeah, definitely B tier, maybe bottom end of A tier. Into Loba next, and she is absolutely, unequivocally, unironically in the nope category for me. Oh boy. Now, before loads of people throw their Mountain Dew and their Doritos at the screen, just relax, because I'm going to explain why, as I have with all the other champions. Loba has a decent kit, and she's not a terrible champion by herself, and she can be good. And again, go back to the caveat, some Loba players, maybe you listening to this right now, are good teammates, good team players. But I think a lot of Loba players forget that they are a support class. You're not there to be the spearhead of the operation and go in first with your bracelet. You're not there to also leave the second a bullet is shot near your teammates and throw your bracelet 5 miles away and disappear, and then pop your ultimate and loot and then just leave. You can get away with that more now, mind you, with the crafting system allowing you to buy your teammates back in ultimately, but the amount of Lobas that play unbelievably selfishly when you're on their team is insane. So right now I have like some kind of PTSD whenever I see a Loba player enter in my lobby, and I just assume that they're going to be useless, and more often than not I'm proven right. Now listen, it's my opinion, alright? If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Maggie's up next. I feel very similar about, not just because of the lore, I feel very similar about Maggie as I do Fuse. I think the two of them are interchangeable. It's kind of the same with Gibraltar and Horizon to me. Whereas Gibraltar and Horizon are drastically different, Maggie and Fuse are both aggressive, they're both assault class. I feel pretty good about having Maggie also in, and I'd probably put her slightly above Fuse. I'm actually going to make one slight alteration as well. I'm going to put Ash slightly above Caustic. Again, they've both been buffed with the assault class. That's a big, big benefit. Where Maggie excels, in my opinion, is when you're trying to get aggressive with her drills. The drill is by far the best part about Maggie, in my opinion. I don't really care about the shotgun buff that she gets with the movement speed. Her ultimate can be very good as well in certain situations. I personally think her ultimate is more often than not better, not even using it aggressively, but using it to rotate fast and to move around fast more so than anything else, or to throw it out and try and kind of play mind games with the explosion noise that it makes while you push a different area, like a bit of misdirection. But that's by the by. I think she's decent. I honestly think that she's quite good. The assault class buff definitely helped to get out of C, same with Fuse, but she's not quite pushing these other champs, especially in the A tier and the printing RP tier. She's not challenging those anytime soon. A good Maggie player, though, is a beast. Mirage is up next. I think Mirage, with Lifeline, is in a very similar category to being massively overlooked. Mirage was a meme for a long time. In solo queue, it was the same story. Didn't really offer anything to your teammates, didn't really help out. I think the changes that he's been given with the invisibility or the resurrection is actually massive and really, really helps him tremendously. I have saved teammates multiple times this season by bamboozling, decoy, controlling, and then going to res while invisible, getting a full res off, and then killing someone pushing me because they didn't know where I was. It is actually huge. And I think because of that, because you add it to the rest of his kit and how annoying he is, especially in those chaotic situations, I think a good Mirage player is honestly worth their weight in gold. And I didn't think I'd be saying that. He would have been nope for me last season, or at least like bottom end of C tier. But now in solo queue, playing him and playing alongside him, I'm going to put him in B tier, and I'm going to put him just behind Bloodhound. I can't justify putting him above Bloodhound, because I think Bloodhound still offers more to the team, but I do feel pretty good about putting him above Maggie and also above Fuse. And by the way, for me, B tier is like average. Anything below B tier is a little bit, you know, weak, and then a Nope is like garbage. Newcastle. I very rarely see Newcastle played, and it is a crying shame because this guy is amazing. I mained him last season, and I got so much success. To put it in perspective, not last season actually, it was the season before, on King's Canyon. On King's Canyon, when that came out, the sort of rework, etc., I played Newcastle. I was playing Fuse up until that point, and I was stuck around probably Plat 2, Plat 3. I wasn't really playing that seriously. I picked Newcastle up. I went from Plat 3 to Diamond 4 in 1 day. I was getting nothing but W's. Wins, tons of RP, loads of success with him. You could chalk that up to people not knowing how to play against him and things, but he is still so strong in my opinion. He's just underused. When I get a Newcastle on my player, without question, even if they're not a great Newcastle, they are doing work and they are being helpful. And because he has a support class as well alongside him, I'm honestly going to put him in printing RP. I can't justify putting him above Bangalore, but I feel very good about having him at the top level of solo queue. Whether I'm playing him, whether I'm playing with him, he's always useful. He's like a better version of Gibraltar. Octane is Nope, and he's actually the bottom of Nope. Now again, Octane mains, chill, relax, just sit still for a few moments. I know it's hard for you. Octane, I have played with some phenomenal Octane players. They have played him perfectly, they have nailed it, they have carried me to wins. Absolutely, 100%. But on the law of averages, Octane players are thick-headed, stubborn people that hold W all day, every day, and don't understand the nuances of this legend and why he can be strong. They use the ultimate only ever aggressively, never defensively. They are always pushing, they're never looking for rotations, they're never paying attention to where the zone is. None of these things seem to compute to most of these players. Again, I'm generalizing hard here, but I think a lot of you have had the same experiences that I'm talking about right now. They will just leave your team. They will run away using their Q stims, leave themselves on 5 HP and then die immediately and then spam ping and quit the game. They will push away from you when you have fairly immobile champs like Caustic or somebody like that on your team, die and then wonder where their teammates are. It's like, not everyone is as fast as you, Chief. Calm down, slow down. It's going to be okay. We can win this game. Just use your brain, not your legs. So for me, Octane is almost always a negative experience with a couple of very bright spots. For me, it's either, there is no middle ground with Octane players. They're either fantastic, amazingly gifted players, or they are straight up dog meat players. And there's no middle ground. Pathfinder. He's also hurt as well by being a skirmisher. If he was an assault class, maybe I could put him C tier. I'm going to put Pathfinder at the bottom end of C tier. I don't feel good about putting him in the Nope because I feel like it's maybe a bit too harsh. I think his buffs to his zipline, his ultimate, have been massively, massively beneficial to Pathfinder. He is now a lot more useful in negotiating last zones and zipping around the map and things of that nature and helping his teammates out. And so for that reason, I'm going to put him in the C tier. I think he does struggle though, similar to the other skirmisher class champs, that he's fell behind a lot of the assault class. Like, I get that he is mobile, but why play Pathfinder when you can play Bangalore? You know, like, obviously the immediate answer is because I prefer Pathfinder. Like, okay, yeah, I get you. But from a strength perspective, I think Bangalore is just objectively a better legend to play that is going to give you a much better opportunity to win games than Pathfinder. Although Pathfinder in certain situations may outshine her, but in most situations, Bangalore is better. Rampart. I think Rampart has had quite a big buff, and I see her played a lot more now. To the degree where I'm starting to warm up to her as a legend. I'm seeing her a lot in my rank games these last couple of weeks. She is obviously a controller, which gives her the ring benefit, which is a big boost and certainly something that helps her out quite a bit. She's very, very good if you are trying to set up a fortress with her walls, especially if you have like a Wattson with you or a Newcastle or someone like that. Very, very good. Very hard to take head on because Sheila is just a nightmare. It will turn you into mincemeat real quick. The problem with Rampart is when she starts getting attacked from multiple teams from multiple angles, I feel like she falters really quick. Or she's another legend that Maggie, and this is another reason why I have Maggie in the B tier, that Maggie really does well against. The same with Fuse. They can knock those walls down or do damage behind those walls quite easily. But overall, I'm going to put Rampart at the top of B tier. I am going to put Rampart at the top of B tier, and I'm actually going to make a change. I'm going to put Lifeline at the bottom end of A tier. I said I might make a couple of changes, and that's one of them. I'm going to put Rampart below Lifeline, but I think she deserves to be top of B tier for everything I just talked about. Feel good about her. Revenant. Revenant for me is a difficult one because I feel as if I see very few good Revenant players, if I'm being honest. I can't remember the last time I played with a random Rev that made me believe in the legend and feel good about the legend. But he has some good kit elements to him. The Assault class buff definitely helps Revenant not get into the nope category. It's just about how high up I want to put him. I'm going to put him at the top end of C tier, actually. I think I'm going to put him slightly above Ashe. No, actually, I'm going to put him below Ashe. I think Ashe's increased mobility and also her intel that she can get across the map is more beneficial. But Revenant, for me, he's going to be in C tier. He would have been in Nope had it have not been for the Assault. So you can see that the Assault class has actually pushed up quite a few of these legends into the next tier. It would have been very different had they have not got these buffs. But I'm going to put him in C tier. He doesn't really do a great deal for your team except for his ultimate, and that's in very, very specific circumstances. Seer. I am going to put Seer in the A tier, and I think I'm going to put him just below Catalyst. He's not quite as good as he used to be. If you asked me this last season, Seer would be absolutely printing RP. He was just the absolute menace of every single ranked solo experience, getting pinged through walls. He still gets quite a lot of playtime, as you'd expect. I don't view him as good as Catalyst, Newcastle, or Bangalore right now. So I'm going to put him in A tier, but slightly below those guys. But he is still very, very good. And although he doesn't get the same benefits as, you know, the support class or the control class, I still feel like the recon is pretty good in certain situations as well. Valkyrie. I think Valkyrie got hit maybe the hardest by the fact that she's not an assault class champ. I think if Valkyrie's an assault class champ, she is at least top of A tier, maybe breaching into printing RP, but because she's a skirmisher, I'm going to have her a little bit further down the list. Now, I'm going to have her below... No, I'm going to have her above Horizon. In fact, I'm going to have her above Gibraltar. Yeah, I think that's better. I'm going to have her an A, behind Seer, but above Gibraltar, but no higher than that because she is skirmisher class, and that has hurt her. She's still, even after a myriad of nerfs, she is still great for her ultimate. She is still super, super useful on scanning enemies in the air as well, of course, and getting information. She's very good at quickly rotating. Those are always going to be very important aspects of Apex Legends. And she's still good. Her rockets, I find like I might as well just close my eyes and turn around from the keyboard when I use my rockets because they never seem to hit where I want them to, but that's because I'm trash. Some Valkyrie players are exceptionally good when it comes to their rockets, and she is still definitely at least A tier in my opinion. Vantage. You know, at first I thought Vantage was kind of trash. I certainly thought that she was bad, and I'm really warming up to her as a legend at this point. I think that she is actually going to get into the B tier, and I would probably put her just below Bloodhound, but above Mirage. I think her scouting ability and her ultimate is very, very useful. She gets some mobility as well. She also has the control class going in her favor as well, which obviously is certainly better. Sorry, not control, recon class, which is certainly better than the skirmisher. So I feel pretty good about having her almost slap bang in the middle. Like, as I see her, she is almost exactly in the middle. She is the definition of down the line when it comes to Legends, as far as I'm concerned. I feel pretty good about having her there. She definitely has uses, but if you're playing with someone that's a Vantage and can't snipe to save their life, then good luck to you. Wattson. I would put Wattson above Caustic in terms of usefulness, purely off her ultimate. Is massively, massively powerful in certain situations. Like, her ultimate hard counters Horizon. Her ultimate hard counters many, many abilities and ultimates in the game. So she will be placing above Caustic, but she runs into some of the same problems that Caustic has, where she's fantastic defensively, but not good at all when it comes to playing aggressively. And you have to really piggyback off your teammates to do the heavy lifting for you if you're trying to break down into the last ring. So I think I would put Wattson at the top end of C tier. I think she is better than Caustic. I do actually think she's better than Ashe and Revenant, but she's not getting any higher than that. And then the last one is Wraith, which is probably the hardest one for me to quantify. I could talk at length about Wraith and why I have a love-hate relationship with this legend, because I don't think even Octane is so polarizing when it comes to players' skills with a champion. I think Octane is the only one, maybe Pathfinder is the only one that comes close to this, where good Wraith players, it's a meme like bold Wraith is always a sweat. Good Wraith players will straight up carry you to wins single-handedly. They will absolutely carry you. Bad Wraith players are toxic, raging, rage-quitting assholes that offer nothing at all. And there's almost no middle ground. So I'm at a bit of a loss here where to put Wraith. I almost want to put Wraith in her own category. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm putting Wraith in her own category because I have no idea where else to put her. So, and I've fucked it up, haven't I? I've massively fucked it up. So we'll put Wraith there. That is nope. And then we'll have Wraith here. Oh, Jesus Christ. See what I mean about being trash? I can't even make these properly. I'm going to put Wraith in her own category. And honestly, it depends on the day. She could be, like, just under printing RP. She honestly could be below nope. I don't really know what to do with Wraith as a champion. She is a coin flip. She is the definition of a coin flip for me when I go into a ranked experience. So there is my list. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it answers some of your questions. Of course, this is going to be a very polarizing video. Many of you are going to disagree vehemently with things I've said. If you do, perfect opportunity for you to start a conversation in the comment section below and let me know which ones I've got wrong, or maybe which ones you agree with. And I'll see you in the next video, guys, or I'll see you in the next stream. Peace.